Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today's video, we're going to be diving into some Cookie Run Kingdom, and I'm going to be bringing you guys my top 5 places that you should be spending your in-game gems. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Diving into number 1 for the things that you should be investing your gems on in Cookie Run Kingdom, and that is going to be the Getcha System. If you don't already know, there are tons of cookies for you guys to collect in this game, and it's going to be from 3 different rarities. You've got commons, you've got the blue rares, and then you got, last but not least, the epics. Now, it's going to be inevitable at the end of the day, probably mid-game, or at least the start of mid-game, you're going to need to have a handful of epic cookies above all other cookies, because most of the team compositions that can get you through all of the content in the world exploration, rank higher in the arena, and last but not least do the maximum amount of damage in the guild boss battles are going to be utilizing team compositions of nothing but epic cookies. Well, you guessed it, where do you get those epic cookies specifically, or the best way to get those? And that's going to be the Getcha System. So this is not like a lot of other mobile games where it's not advised to invest into the specific banners or pulling in the Getcha System because you can buy those summons elsewhere. That's not the same. For Cookie Run Kingdom, this is the single best way to get your individual summons, aka the copies or duplicates of the cookies that you have, or to get the summon that you need to complete that team composition. And I cannot stress this enough, especially for new players loading up into the game for the very first time, to spend several thousand of your early game gems on summons, because you're going to want to make sure that you are investing only in the cookies that are going to carry you through whatever content you are trying to clear, or that cookies or which cookies are worth investing in. If you haven't seen those videos, I've got enough videos on my YouTube channel that will show you what cookies that are worth investing in, or you can hop down below in my Discord and check it out there. But either way, you want to make sure that you are investing in the right cookies as early as possible, because any resources that you waste in a cookie, you cannot get that back. There is no reset feature in this game, so keep that in mind. The next thing that we've got also included in this Getcha System are going to be the individual treasures. Now, the treasures are just as important as getting the cookies, but they come second. So what I mean by that is invest in the cookies first, get the right team composition and the right cookies that you need for your team composition. Then don't feel bad about jumping in here and then investing in some treasure summons utilizing in-game gems, because the treasures are just going to aid you in clearing additional content with things like additional buffs or specific skills that you can then use to aid you in your adventure. So again, keep that in mind. Treasures should be secondary from investing in cookies. Alrighty, moving right along to the number 2, and that is going to be the landmark system in this game. If you guys do not already know, the landmarks in this game can make a massive difference when it gets to like chapters 7 and 8 in the game, and not only that, they will make a massive difference for anybody that is trying to rank in the PvP world. Okay, once you get to those higher ranks in PvP, a lot of times most of the teams are using the same meta or pretty close to the same meta team composition, and it's going to really boil down to things like toppings that you have invested in, levels that you have invested in, the skill powders, and last but not least, things like your landmarks will aid in giving you that slight edge over your opponent. So you want to make sure that you are jumping in here and investing in landmarks as soon as possible. Bear in mind that some of these do cost a different amount of gems. So the base stat percentage increases, which is going to be one of the very first ones that I think that are good to invest in and safe to invest in with your gems, they're only going to cost you 2,400. Now, as you slowly progress through the campaign mode, you will get to the point where you unlock something like the Dark Lord's Castle, and once you get here, this is again another one of those 5% stat bonus increases, which is a very good stat damage resistance, but it costs you a lot more gems. So I would highly recommend waiting on something like these that cost a little bit more later on and investing in those later. The same thing goes with some of the other landmarks. I think that should be your absolute last buy when it comes to investing your gems. That's going to be things like the Ferris wheel, the gumball machine, like I said, like the star candy, never mind, that's gold, you know, your Dark Lords, things like that. I mean, obviously invest in them. I think they're well worth the gems, and you know, the gems spent. So don't think that they're not, but I definitely don't think it should be one of the very first landmarks that you buy. So just keep that in mind. Highly recommend picking up the TikTok Clock Tower as your number 1 landmark, and then investing in the specific stat bonuses like the ones that do attack percent, or your, you know, your HP bonus, your defense defense bonus, things like that, because again, it's going to directly aid you in the later game. So keep that in mind. The third thing that we've got up on the list here to invest in my personal opinion, is going to be the stamina jellies refreshes. Now, keep in mind, this is not like other mobile games where you can infinitely refresh utilizing in-game gems. The developers do put a cap on it, or a soft cap of only refreshing 3 times per day. So just bear with that. You know, keep that in mind. You are going to spend more gems as you do the additional refreshes. So the first one is going to be able to give us an additional 30 stamina jellies. It's going to cost us 9 gems. Now, I'm pretty sure that amount goes up. We're going to do it just for the video here to show you, but because if I come here, yeah, so see, it goes up from 90 to 160, and then I believe that third and final time that we do a refresh will also cost additional of those diamonds. So again, keep that in mind, but also your stamina jelly mount also goes up. You can see that we can get an additional 40 stamina jellies by spending 160. So again, take it for what it's worth. If you're just a casual player, you're fine with grinding out, utilizing whatever stamina you have accumulated for the day or that you already have stored up, and then just logging off to the game for however many hours for it to reset and refill, then by all means, you can definitely play the game that way. But if you are looking to progress as fast as possible, or you are looking to just play the game as much as possible, then I highly recommend, getting in here, utilizing your gems to do those refreshes, because again, you can only do it so many times per day. So it's not like it can pretty much, bankrupt you. And not only that, you're progressing throughout the entire story mode, which is the ultimate goal in the long run. So again, do not feel bad about investing in the stamina jelly refreshes. Speaking of refreshes, that leads me to number 4 of the things to invest your gems in, and that is going to be the individual arena tickets. Now, you might be looking at this and being, but Kodeations, you have 229 of them. Why would you ever need to invest in arena tickets? Well, I'm a little bit of a special case, and the reason I know I'm a special case, I would say because for me personally, I have not invested a whole lot of time in the arena. I have been saving up and hoarding up all of my arena tickets, and pretty much for no good reason, to be honest with you. It's literally because I've just been investing so much other time and other content in the game and in other games, not in Cookie Run Kingdom, as a content creator. So therefore, I've just kind of neglected the arena. But do not make the same mistake that I have done. I highly recommend you grind out the arena, because the season rewards are absolutely worth the amount of time that you put into it and the additional gems that you put in it to get the additional arena tickets. Now, I will say one thing about investing in arena tickets and why it is ranked number 4 on my top 5 places to invest in gems and not higher, or in front of doing the stamina, and that's going to be because I don't think it's worth investing into arena tickets when you are closer to the end of the season, and it's not going to increase your tier. So to give you guys an example here, you can see we're currently on Silver 2. You can see that we are really, really close to maxing out, to get up to that Silver 1 rank, which then would increase my tier, and we've still got 19 days left. If this was the case, but we were down to the very bottom, and me utilizing 8 of those individual tickets was not going to be able to progress me to the next tier in order to get the next tier of season rewards, then it's definitely not worth investing that, because sure, you can get some things from it, or some more, or some medals or something, sure, but it's definitely not going to be worth it, in my opinion, to spend those individual gems. Those gems are better used elsewhere for things like 1, 2, and 3. But if you are close to that next tier, don't feel bad about investing in those specific gems, or those gems, in order to pick up those arena tickets to then clear that next tier to get those additional gems once the season is over. So again, keep that in mind. That is going to be number 4. And then last but not least is going to bring us back into the specific kingdom mode of the game. And that's going to be upgrading specific slot count in resource buildings. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be specific resource buildings. Do not get in here and invest and try to invest in increasing each slot for each individual building, because you will go broke inevitably. So don't do that. That is not what I'm suggesting. What I'm actually suggesting you to do are things like this. Now, mine specifically happened to me with the carpentry shot. I went ahead and spent 300 gems to give me an additional slot. Now, the reason why I have went ahead and done this is because I found myself not being able to complete orders fast enough or trains fast enough in order to, with having the default amount of slots open. So I felt it necessary for me to spend 300 gems to unlock another slot, so then I can produce more of those specific items, so then I can then complete more of those orders, aka farming out more gold and experience, and also those Aurora pieces from the train. So that's why I have chosen to do that for that specific building. But There are a lot of buildings like all these other ones that I have not invested in. You can see we've only got 2 slots available here. You can see that we've only got 2 slots available here on our individual dairy factory. So again, I don't recommend doing this on every single building. Now I will show you another building that I also invested in additional slots, and that is going to be the sugar quarry, however you want to say it, because I don't know if it happens to every player, but I've seen a lot of players go through the same struggle I did, and that's going to be the sugar cube shortage, man. You hit a spot in the game. It's kind of like early mid game, I believe is what I would call it. You're going to hit a sugar cube shortage where everything's going to need and require sugar cubes. You just don't specifically have enough, and you can't make enough even idling in order for it to be worth your time. So I've definitely found it worth investing some 300 gems into unlocking additional slots, so then I can idle, you know, additionally make more of these. So again, it's up to you. You can play the game how you want to play it. If you want to wait for them to refresh and then you're not really, you know, trying to min-max or grind out things faster, then maybe it's not worth your time or your investment. So that's going to be it for me, ladies and gentlemen, for the video. If you have anything else to add, drop it down below in the comment section for me and other players to take advantage of. If you guys don't already know, we've got a Discord as well. We would love to have you over there to talk and hang out and just discuss anything and everything about Cookie Run and other various mobile games. So that's going to be it for me. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notification every time we drop a video, and I will see you guys on the next one.